Hey, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Hey, DC, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you? Good to see you yesterday.
Likewise, sir.
All right.
It's
So
after 6. We'll be patient for a few more minutes.
Maria's first up, correct?
Yes, she is. And we actually don't have a quorum. Well, we have 4 of our, well, yeah, we do, because never mind, I can't count today. Hi, Maria.
Hello, hello.
Hi, everybody.
Well, I'll give it one more minute and then we'll get started. I know everybody has busy evenings. All right, it's 6:04. Let's get started. Welcome to everyone, both panelists and people in the audience. And Ron, welcome. Perfect timing. Let's see. I want to go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's 6:04. And let's see. I would ask that everybody look at the agenda. And I guess it would help if I looked at the right one. And if I could please have an approval of the agenda. I know there was one amendment. Thank you, Mike, for pointing that out earlier, that we had last month deferred the May minutes. And so I would ask to add that on so that we'll be approving both May and June minutes. And that was all I had about that. So if I could have y'all look that over if you haven't already and move that forward.
I move to approve.
As amended.
As amended, yes.
I second.
Cool. So moved. The housekeeping notes should have gone out with everybody's Zoom link and agenda. basically what you learned in kindergarten. Be kind, don't point fingers, don't say bad words, and yeah, mostly just be nice to each other. If you have questions, please put them in the chat box. We will get to them as we get to the speakers, or as we can jump in there and get them. I'm a little bit slower on the uptake of those than some other council members, so feel free to jump in. That would be much appreciated. I do want to go ahead and have everybody on the council, if they would please introduce themselves, that would be awesome. Angel, you're up like in the far left-hand corner if we're doing Brady Bunch, so we'll let you go first.
My name is Angel Garcia. I work for the city of Albuquerque's Violence Intervention Program. I also do a lot of work in the Southeast. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Smathers. I'm a First Deputy Chief with Albuquerque Police Department. Specifically, I have the Special Operations Bureau, and a little bit later, I'll just chat a little bit about what my bureau does and how it operates within the city. But I'm glad to be here.
Welcome. Angelo, you want to jump in?
Hello, my name is Angelo Ragland. I'm a student at CNM. I'm studying as criminology. And I want to study as crime scene investigator. And that's it. Thank you.
Mike, you want to jump in? Or Ron, either one?
I'll go ahead and jump in because I'll make mine very brief. This is my 5th year, in the middle of my 5th year on the CPC. I'm looking forward to seeing somebody replace me, somebody who's younger, darker, different socioeconomic background, whatever. I look forward to that. And if you want to know more about me, I'll post a link to my application from back in 2016. And that'll be all I'll say.
I'll go next. My name is Ron Hobkewarks. I live in the Nob Hill area, Southeast area, Community Policing Council. I'm probably the oldest member of the Policing Council. I have been serving on the Policing Council when it was first formed with the CASA court-approved settlement agreement back in 2014. And I appreciate you all being here, and I'm glad that we have these new members on our Policing Council to work with us and be with us and sharing this experience. Thank you all for being here.
Awesome. I'm Susie Sanchez-Begg. I'm the chair of the Southeast Area Command Citizens Community Policing Council. I live and work in the Southeast. I work in the International District. And I work working with people in recovery. So, and I've been on the council for a couple of years now. So welcome everybody. I want to thank Commander Yara for being here, who of course needs no introduction. I want to thank Kelly and Billy, our CPC liaisons, for all the hard work that they do in helping us get ready. And for Maria, I will let you introduce yourself here in just a second. I do want to let you know, we do have 2 members who are absent this evening. It's summer, so sometimes that happens. And we also have a resignation of one of our longstanding members, Kathleen Burke, and we wish her well. She just, like many of us, has just life has just gotten really busy, so we thank her for her service and wish her well. And with that, I will, if it's okay with the council members, I would like to go ahead and do the minutes after the presentation when we do our business. That way we can get our community members presented and on with their next gig. I know Maria has a busy evening. I know the deputy chief is always busy. So if that's okay with the council to do that, thumbs up. Okay, cool. Then I will hand it over to Maria.
Thank you, Susie. Thank you for inviting me to present tonight and to talk about our new Nob Hill to University Public Safety ECHO program. We're really excited to have this first replication of the Public Safety ECHO. And I want to sincerely invite everybody who is in today's CPC meeting to join us, or to let me know if you would like to have the invitations to the program. I'll do a quick run through of what the ECHO program is and how we approach things, and then show you the invite for the next session and give you a quick rundown of what we are planning for the coming sessions, and then take questions. So if it's okay with everybody, I'll do a quick run through in the interest of time, and then we'll take questions at the end. If you want to put questions in the chat, that's absolutely fine with me as well. So does that sound good to everybody? Okay, all righty. So let me share my screen. Oh, can I have screen sharing capability, Kelly? Should be in place. Okay, very good. All right. Says it's asking me who can share. So I'm saying all panelists. Is that okay, Kelly? All right. So yeah. now I can share. Very good. Thank you. So let me just change my order a little bit. First, I'm just gonna let you guys know our next session will be next Wednesday. The sessions will always be on Wednesday, and they'll be the first and third Wednesdays of each month. The survey we did, the overwhelming recommendation was that the sessions would be from 4 to 5:30 p.m. to allow people from the community to participate. So we will be hosting them at that time frame. The next session is going to be really focusing on when to call 911, when to call 242 COPS, when to call 311, how to act for both 311 and 911 or other APD concerns. So the APD app is a great resource that a lot of people don't know how to use, and so there will be some tips for how to use that as well. We're identifying the case that will be covered. This is a typical invitation that we use for every one of these sessions. We always try to include community announcements, things that are going on in the Nob Hill and University area. So if anybody has an announcement that they would like for me to include in these invitations or in the session itself, I invite everybody to send me those in. Or if you're attending the sessions, we always have a time on the agenda for community members to make announcements as well. These sessions are focused on the concerns of people in the Nob Hill and University area, and that area is defined as from Washington to University, from Lomas to Cole. That does not mean other people are not invited to the table. We want to make sure everybody understands that the learning we are sharing, the discussions we are having are open to others so that they learn, but this is an ECHO program focused on the interests and concerns of this area. So I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to open a another program. I'm just going to open a PowerPoint presentation to give you guys an idea of a little bit more explanation of the ECHO program itself and why we chose this model to work on community building and public safety issues. And so let me just get this into, there we go. So the ECHO model is a proven model for building cross-disciplinary understanding and best practices around specific issues. And it is, we've been working with that model for 2.5 years in the downtown area and have just taken it to the Nob Hill area with the first Nob Hill Public Safety ECHO program, Nob Hill to University Public Safety ECHO program last week. And the next will be next week. And so the goal for this is to look at new ways of addressing social challenges. And for those of you who are not familiar with the ECHO model, let me just quickly describe the ECHO program. ECHO stands for Extension of Healthcare Outcomes. And so it's community healthcare outcomes. And the way that ECHO was first developed was by its leader, Dr. Sanjeev Arora. He is a specialist and he works with people who have hepatitis C. And over 20 years ago, he had people coming to him from rural areas in the state who had their illness so far gone that they were likely going to pass away. And it was too late to treat them effectively. And when he asked those individuals, like, why didn't you come to us sooner? They explained that the issue was that they lived in a rural area. They didn't have the money to travel extensively. So he realized quickly that it wasn't a matter where he needed to expand his treatment of patients because he couldn't take on all of those patients in other areas. What he needed to do was create their healthcare providers to provide better service. And so he brought to the table, not just himself, the Hep C doc, but he brought the pharmacist and he brought the psychiatrist who was dealing with how the different medicines would impact the behavior of the individual along with the disease itself. And he quickly realized that they were subject matter experts in their field, but as they were talking about different treatment options, that the doctors in these rural areas were teaching him as well. And so he developed what we call the everybody teaches, everybody learns model, where you bring issues to the table. You do have subject matter experts that bring specific resources, but you create the environment where others can bring their ideas or concerns to the table as well. And so that is what we try really hard to do, is create an environment where there's respect, where there's really being hard on the issues, but easy on the people, and figuring out how to move forward in a productive manner, in a proactive, positive way. So that's why the ECHO model is an exciting thing for us to try to bring to public safety. And this is the first time that it's really used in a public safety environment like this. The CIU Crisis Intervention Unit has an ECHO program to share best practices amongst law enforcement officers. Actually, they have people throughout the country and in Canada as well. But this is the first time we're taking it to the community level. So that's a little background on what the ECHO model is and how it came to be. So a lot of people have said, why is Nob Hill the selection for the next area? And what I think the decision was based on was the fact that the Nob Hill had many of the same elements that downtown has. And so replication was a pretty straightforward opportunity. And one of the things we're trying to collect is the meta knowledge of how to do a replication before we go to some of the more complex areas of the city. So our hope is that this replication, to get it going strong, will take about 6 months, and then we'll be ready to take the program out to yet another community and continue building the ability for the program to impact how people are responding to common public safety issues. So Nob Hill has Heading Home, Street Connect, working with your highest utilizers of emergency services. It has the Block by Block program that partners so effectively with both Heading Home and the officers in identifying issues and supporting the businesses in the area. The Nob Hill area has a great bike team that has a strong success in community policing in the area. And they also have a Main Street program for business outreach and developing community programming. So those are some of the things that impacted that decision to bring that cross-disciplinary group to the table. These numbers are actually older, so I just wanted to alert you that these numbers are from last spring. I did not update them for this presentation. So in terms of the design for the Nob Hill Public Safety Echo, we started off with a survey that we had put out there in many, many ways. And we have over 100 responses now, asking people what kinds of things in the Nob Hill University area make you feel safe, don't make you feel safe, what are your major concerns? And then we took a lot of that information from the feedback. And we also had some Zoom sessions with stakeholders through neighborhood associations. We got community input from community stakeholders through outreach. And so we tried to use all of that information to develop the programming that you'll see in the Nob Hill Echo that is coming along. As I described, it's an all teach, all learn model that Echo likes to promote. And so you'll see that we have a hub team of people who are my advisors, really. They tell me as the Echo coordinator, yes, that's a great presentation to look at, or yeah, I don't know if that's quite right. So we have our hub team, and then with the hub team, we have the spokes. So it's a hub and spokes model. And the spokes are all of the other resources that need to be at the table to address issues. You know, if you're walking down a street and you pass by a dark and smelly alley, you just don't feel quite as safe. And so people like solid waste and city planning, they have an important role in how we feel about our environment. If businesses are not enforcing rules or, you know, replacing broken windows, that impacts how we feel too. Private security firms have a big impact on various programming areas. Service providers who are doing outreach to folks who have a substance abuse issue or who are struggling or experiencing homelessness, we need people who are helping, and so they have an important role. If you go to a park and it's a mess, you know, you're not really happy about that. It doesn't make you feel good. So we just try to bring all of those different parts of the government programming to the table to address the different things that impact your sense of safety in your immediate surroundings or in areas of the city that you visit. And we have, in the downtown area, we have a Downtown Albuquerque News, which is a subscription newsletter. And the guy that edits that says that the Downtown Public Safety Echo is his favorite new civics class because he thinks it's how government should work when people are trying to find solutions together. So I think that's a great positive statement for it. So the Downtown Public Safety Echo curriculum is a really 4-part and then with one addition. So we look at skills training where we're talking about specific skills that people in the community can really benefit from, like how do you de-escalate a conversation that is ramping up into uncertain or potentially violent situation? Or how do you train bouncers in a bar to deal with people without creating a worse situation? How do you deal with a shooter situation? These are the basic skills training aspects that go into the curriculum. Mental health, like what is schizophrenia? What does it look like? Why do I need to know about it? Why does it seem like we see more incidences of schizophrenia or psychosis or bipolar or just depression and suicide ideology? What do we need to know about this in our world today, and how can it help me as just a community member to know more about it? Then community improvement. What is community policing? How does policing work? Understanding how policing approaches various problems. What is the city law? What is the state law? How does enforcement work? I think these are important things for people to understand. Or special programs, like we have Angel, who's one of your CPC members. He works with the VIP program, and it's a great program that's doing some very exciting things in a new way. And understanding these new programs, or how the police analysts work with big data sets to try to figure out trends. These are things that help people understand that policing is not just the squad car that's in your neighborhood, but it's a whole depth of really professional, intelligent people who are trying their best to improve the way our community feels when we're walking at night or in the day. So another key issue, as we all know, is drug prevention and addiction treatment, and trying to reduce the stigma so that we can address a real problem by talking about what's going on. So these are some of the really key issues we cover. One of the things that we have seen very clearly on the feedback for the Nob Hill to University ECHO Community Input Survey is a lot of concerns about traffic as well. And so we'll definitely be looking at traffic. As a matter of fact, the August 4th session of the Nob Hill to University ECHO will cover traffic calming methods, traffic engineering, and then also be looking at traffic enforcement as well. So really the ultimate goal of the public safety ECHO is to really contribute to the wellness of the community by bringing people together in a proactive, positive manner to solve problems. We have very strong ground rules like you do. We have people identify cases and issues in advance so that we can do the homework and try to make sure we have the right subject matter experts at the table to try to address the issues each session. And each session has a, we start with introductions of everybody who is part of this session. And people say, oh my gosh, but we can get through 50 people in about 10 minutes. We go through everybody quickly, make sure that people know who's who and who they're with, because that's part of your community building effort. Then we have an update from the police officers from the area, from the commander, from the lieutenant, to talk about any trends that people should know, road closures, specific incidents. Then we have the announcements that I already mentioned. Then we go into a case discussion. So last week, if you weren't able to attend, we talked about an incident that had been reported in the surveys and on some of the other social media sites about a person who had gone for a run, felt like somebody was following them, and what advice there was in incidents like that. And so we had a good 20, 30-minute conversation with a variety of different ideas, some apps that you can use if you're going out running, some other advice from officers, from people who go for runs, from other security experts. And so it was a great conversation. Then following your case discussion, we'll go into what we call a didactic or short lecture on one of the topics that the curriculum is addressing. So we kicked off last week with just a presentation on how the downtown partnering has worked with Block by Block, with the Heading Home Street Connect team, with officers, Albuquerque Fire, the different groups who bring issues to the table, who identify people who need help, things like that. The next session will cover, as you saw, who you're going to call for emergency or services or other public safety concerns. The next session will cover, on the 4th, we'll go into another area of the curriculum. So what you'll see is that we'll cover different issues as we go along. So you'll see something that's more focused on substance abuse, or more focused on mental health, more focused on a community policing aspect. And so there's a learning opportunity that has a depth of learning to it each time as well. Then we wrap it up and send you a survey and try to get some real feedback from each participant. So, so that's my quick rundown of the Public Safety ECHO program and what we're trying to do. And so I'm happy to take questions now and try my best to answer them. And I'm also happy to take specific concerns, and I'm gonna put in the chat my email so that you can let me know if you would like to be added to the contact list for all of the invitations to the programs, or to contact me if you have a concern that you would like to bring to the table as a case. So are there any questions?
I have an initial question. Are you in any way, even though it's not in Nob Hill, providing information to people, especially in drug rehab, about the care facility at Zuni and Valencia, and what happens there and how people can go there for assistance and help?
So I have not addressed that specific program. I mean, Ron, can you tell me the name of the program that you're talking about?
It's called CARE. It's a rehabilitation center. It was originally started by the Bernalillo County as a rehab facility, and I've become familiar with it in sort of a way that a friend of mine came in contact with a young woman going through seizures and vomiting and having all kinds of problems on drugs and potential life-threatening drugs, and managed to get some assistance from the CARE.
So the CARE campus is funded by a special tax that Bernalillo County agreed to a while back, and they are trying to expand their programs. And now that COVID is over, I think that we are hoping that we'll see an expanded outreach from them as well. I think that that is a really good point, that would be a great group to bring to the table to help show some of the programming that's out there. We are fortunate that we have some other great programs as well that are doing outreach and treatment services. And so part of what we'll do is we'll try to bring a variety of those treatment programs to talk about how they're approaching it from their own special direction. And CARE Campus would definitely be part of that.
Thank you, Maria.
Let's see, is there something in the chat? Oh, no, okay. Kelly, we can't see chat from other people who are participating. Is that correct?
You should be able to see the chat as a co-host, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there
All
are
right.
no questions at this point in time.
Okay. Well, either that means that I did a great job on the presentation, or people are still a little bit puzzled about it. But I do want, let's see, there's a question from Mike.
I was very impressed with the case study that you mentioned about the gentleman who was wielding the knife, I believe, to protect children. And could you summarize that in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
Sure.
Because that was really inspiring, and that's the sort of proactive community engagement that I think we all want to foster. I thought that was a great story. And I look forward to the Zoom recording to listen to it again.
Thank you. So that was part of our presentation on the effectiveness of the partnering aspect that we've seen in the downtown area. So the Albuquerque Street Connect, as you know, they do the intensive outreach to the people who are chronically homeless and the highest utilizers of emergency services. And then block by block, their guys are on the street every day. So this was one instance downtown where we had an individual go into one of our small galleries, and the guy came in and he was talking to the person working, the young woman working, and he was talking about demons and numbers and just very strange chatter. And she was a little alarmed, but it seemed like everything was okay. He started to leave, and she said, because it was during COVID, she said, "Be safe out there." And so he turned around and he pulled out a machete and walked towards her with it. And she was just terrified, and she ran into the bathroom and locked the door, because in that shop, the only place to close herself off was the bathroom. She didn't have her phone with her. She waited a while. The person left. At that point, she called Block by Block, because they are right next door and their guys are always on the street. And the Block by Block people said, "Oh, we know who that is. It's so-and-so, and he's not a problem. He actually is schizophrenic. He's medicated, but he believes that he's caring for children in the area." And so the Block by Block people tried to explain that what they thought he was doing was showing her that he was safe because he had his knife. And so the people in the gallery thought, well, okay, but when I checked in on them, because I do a lot of community outreach, and they said, "Oh my gosh, Maria, this happened." And I thought, well, okay, you know, that's a little concerning, because they were really quite scared about the situation. And so Block by Block has a weekly meeting with officers and with community members who are working on, not Block by Block, Street Connect. And so during the next weekly meeting, I brought this up, that like, hey, this happened and they're still worried about this situation. And then what we found out was that the Block by Block guys had heard that he had pulled his knife out at another place downtown. And then we realized, hold on, time out. An issue here is that this guy could show this knife to somebody and actually create a more dangerous situation for himself if it's a really tough person who would go after him for having the knife, or if this guy goes after a police officer with that knife, the police officer could feel threatened as well. So him having this very large blade knife is just not a safe situation with the situation as it is. And so the Street Connect people worked with police officers, and they got him in for a certificate for evaluation, did some work on that. And as a result, that individual ended up getting some more intensive medical care. And he is actually, my understanding at this point is that he has been stably housed and he's been stable on his medication, and his family is getting back in touch with him. And so he has returned to downtown, and he hangs out downtown again during the day, but his behavior has really stabilized in a way where it's not considered a problem now. And so obviously we've chosen this because it was a really solid success story with many players in the community working together to bring the issue to the table. But I think it is a nice idea and a nice example of how, when you're talking with people and when you're working together, you can, create a safer environment or a feeling of a safer environment on things like that. So thanks for bringing that up, Mike. It is a nice example of how you can actually really help somebody and help the community at the same time.
Awesome. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. And I know I've taken a fair amount of time already. I'll check the chat one more time, but looks like there are no questions, but I just want you all to know you have a place at the table. I'm just a phone call or an email away if you have any concerns. And I just want to just thank Commander Yara for just super support for this program. And the officers that we are working with are really gifted facilitators, and they are on those bikes doing outreach in the community and doing outreach and bringing cases and ideas to the table as well. And I think we're really fortunate to have some great community members who are very interested in working together.
Awesome. Thank you.
Including you, Susie.
Oh, thank you.
So.
Well, thank you for your presentation. Somebody had asked in the chat, and I know Mike had said that we would make it available. Is your presentation available either on your website or for us to email out to people?
You know what I'll do is I'll email it to Mike right now. Is that good?
That works.
Okay. Yeah. And just let me give a little shout out that we are updating our website for the Public Safety Echo, and you will soon see a section that says Downtown Echo and a section that says Nob Hill Echo, and we will have the videos for all of the programs available so that people can watch the case discussion or watch the didactic presentation as well. So that is in the works, and I'm really, really hopeful that it's going to be up and ready for by the time we have our next session so that we can announce all of it. So
great, thank you.
Well, that will be an ongoing process. As any of you know who work on websites, it's always running up the down escalator, but we will be working on that.
Awesome, thanks so much.
Thank you all. Thanks so much.
Have a good evening, Maria.
Good night.
All right, she's an awesome lady. So that was great. That's good information. And I'm glad that we have bike cops down there that are working with her as well. I want to move on to our next panelist, which is Deputy Chief Smathers, who has been graciously and patiently waiting to speak to us, so I appreciate that. And I know that he mentioned in the chat that he was having some issues with his camera, so we'll just make it work. So it's all good. So welcome.
Thank you for having me. Good evening. I am sorry for the my video froze, and when I logged back on, I don't know what's going on, but I appreciate your patience with me. I am the deputy chief that's over the Special Operations Bureau, and I just wanted to briefly let everybody know what those resources are that you might see out in the Southeast. More traditionally, I have the SWAT team, the bomb squad, and the K9 unit, and those units are most usually responding to critical incidents involving violent suspects and the need to take them into custody safely generates the requirement for the SWAT team or those other units to come and provide some specialized equipment and specialized training to have a successful resolution. I will tell this group that we've been working within the CASA to refine the process by which we do come to a particular incident, and quite often we often decline to come and try to figure out another path to a solution to just minimize the contact that we do have, because we do realize there are occasions where tragedies do occur when the SWAT team deploys. So I just want you to know that we're always looking at ways to refine that and be more particular about how we do respond. I have a unit that's just recently been named or renamed the Special Resources Division. Those are some more traditional things that you might see. I have the horse-mounted unit that hopefully you see all over. We've been deploying regularly in the Southeast for shot spotter activations and then a lot of public relation events. So we try to mix them. They're a wonderful community engagement tool. People love horses and love coming up to them. It's great interaction. But we also try to do some crime fighting with them as well. A horse-mounted unit officer recently arrested a gentleman related to a stolen car. So we try to balance that out for public safety and community engagement. I have the open space unit as well, which is most often thought of, I think, lately for search and rescue related activities. They do a lot of that in the Sandias and also at the Bobsey. They help a lot with fires that are started, and they also try to work in the open space just for criminal deterrence and to be just a public relations force there. That's a fairly small unit, so they sometimes can only do the rescue work, but you hopefully will see them out and about as you recreate in the city. I have the special events and Homeland Security units in my bureau. Special events, obviously the next one coming up for us is the Balloon Fiesta. We just recently led all the planning and implementation for the July 4th celebration. So that falls under my umbrella. That's more just the planning and resource situation. We use the entirety of the Albuquerque Police Department, obviously, for Balloon Fiesta. Homeland Security, which is sort of self-explanatory, that function falls into my bureau as well. As we address issues, the most recent example for us was COVID-19. My unit was primarily responsible for how APD handled that this past year. I have the air support unit, which is we have 2 helicopters that are functioning and a fixed wing airplane that hopefully you'll see. And we use that to support the men and women in patrol primarily as they do their work on the ground. So that we have some very good resources there that are very helpful. The prior presenter mentioned some traffic concerns. I have the traffic unit for all the motorcycle officers, the DWI officers. We do all the accident reconstructions for any fatal or serious injury accidents. And then I have the DWI unit whose sole focus is obviously to get impaired drivers off the roads. And then we have another section called Operations Review, but primarily that's the community engagement section. I hope that all of you have heard about our new ambassador program within APD. We're taking volunteer officers and assigning them to different community groups, different community stakeholders to try to just be a liaison between the police department and those groups. So hopefully just make it easier to get to know us and to, if you have a need for our services, to be kind of a one-stop shop for that. We're really excited about that. That program has already grown some since its inception. It's a top priority for Chief Medina, and we're excited about that. So if there are any groups that are represented here by anyone and you want to have a relationship with us with an ambassador, I'll put my contact information in the chat. So please reach out to me related to that. Also, recruiting is a big part. Obviously, we all know that APD has some staffing challenges that are pretty significant. So I'm always trying to push the recruiting and ask people that want to help us change APD from the inside to please join us. And then we have court services, which is more of a support function for the casework that the men and women of APD do. And then operations is just more of an organizational function within my bureau. So in, I guess, about 3 to 4 minutes, that is the bureau. We cover the entire city. I don't have one particular area like Commander Yara does with the Southeast. We would respond with all of those resources anywhere in the city. So I'm always happy to talk about my bureau and what the men and women within it do. If there's any questions, I'm open to them. I'm always happy to come to any presentation in person if you'd be so inclined to have me, or you want a member of one of my units to come and be a part. Or I'll just tell you now, the answer from us will be yes. To do that, we want to be a part of what's going on that's positive in the Southeast. So any questions for me, comments or anything?
I would definitely love to have somebody from your division or your unit come back, and maybe we can come up with some specific questions that are related to the different units, perhaps, because I know that they each do, different things. I know, obviously SWAT and bomb squad and K9 address more escalated situations. Then, hopefully the horse unit does. And hopefully at that point we'll be having in-person meetings. So if the presenters want to come with the horses, that would be okay too. That would be an awesome thing. So that would be my personal request. And we would certainly make sure that we put that out in Commander Yara's monthly newsletter, so that all community members that goes out to, and people that we here on the panel come in contact with, that it and the neighborhood associations, that we reach out to as many community members as possible, so that accurate information gets out there.
We would be happy to do that. We have a lot of different units and a lot of different equipment that we can show people and kind of demystify sometimes what we're doing, or when you see this equipment out there, what it's doing. So we're happy to do that. I put my email in the chat. If anybody wants to reach out directly, certainly reach out to Commander Yara. We're happy to do a static display, do a presentation, do a little bit of both. Other community festivals, other celebratory type events, we're happy to participate in those as well. We're trying to get more engaged with some school groups within my bureau as well. So we're open, and we're happy to participate in any way you would request. So I'm happy to do that, and our answer would be, we'll be there. So either reach out to me directly via that email, and I'll make sure the right person gets it done, or just go direct with Commander Yara, and he and I see each other very regularly.
Yeah, that would be great. And I had several questions, but they're all kind of in detailed, lengthy questions. So I will send those to the council and then send those to you, and then you can direct them where they need, and then we can, when we get response, we'll send them out to the group.
That's happy to do that.
Okay.
I'm happy to do that.
Okay. Does anybody else on the panel have questions for the deputy chief?
I mean, so this question would go out, since I'm new to the Southeast CPC, it goes out to both Commander Yara and yourself. What would you like? What kind of help would you like from us to help community relationships or anything else? Like DC, you're pretty high up there in rank. Like, what would you like to see from us?
Well, from an engagement standpoint, just some invitations, like the ambassador program in particular. We want to. The only way we're going to get embedded with a lot of different community groups is to get plugged in. So invite us to some of these meetings. I want to introduce people to the ambassadors and what they do. It's new. People are not quite sure what they do. We're not there just for when things are bad or when there's a troubled event or a high-profile crime event. We're happy to help with that, but we want to be there for the quality of life issues that were talked about in the ECHO presentation, to help you get used to how APD works. Instead of trying to figure out who to call, you call your ambassador and we'll fill in the rest and get it done for you, to try to just have a better customer service focus. So right out of the gate for us on the engagement side would be just invite us, ask us to participate in your events. That's the better way to kind of get to know people face to face in a less stressful, less formal setting. And then we are happy to participate with our groups. there is a lot of misconceptions, I think, about like the SWAT team and some of the other teams related to the equipment that we use. And there's understandable concerns about, you know, the police being maybe overly militarized and why we do some of the things that we do. So always happy to explain that, to kind of demystify what's happening, especially like on a SWAT call or on a bomb call, because you're going to see a lot of equipment. It's really stressful to see us out there at times doing those things, and we want to be there. So I guess tops of the trees for me would be just invite us. Invite us to come see you, invite us to your civic group, invite us to your school group, and then obviously we'll try to tailor what your needs are. But that would be the first thing that I would say. People know that we exist, but quite often they're not quite sure how to reach us. So that, especially with my bureau, because like I said, I belong to the whole city. I don't belong to one particular community. And sometimes that's, I don't know, we're just sort of not out of sight, out of mind, but people just know we're there, but they don't have as deep a relationship with us as I want us to have. So I would just say, please invite us. And when you hear people, and it's okay if people are unhappy with some of the things that we're doing. I don't mind talking to people that maybe aren't in love with APD. We understand that, and we want to bridge that gap as well. So if it's people that perhaps have a negative opinion of some of the things that we do, I didn't mention it, but I have the emergency response team. So that's all the protest police response. So again, you know, obviously last season and even now we have a high tempo of protest at times. Happy to come explain why we do some of the things that we do. We want to build those relationships, so we're hopefully these events go off in a peaceful manner. So I'm always happy to reach out, and it's okay with me if they're not top fans of APD. We want to work through that. So that would be my suggestion. Please invite us, and we'll come and break bread with you and talk with you. And I'm hoping these will we'll just have a deeper relationship. That would be my ask.
That would be great. Does anybody else on the CPC have a question? Comment? Wow, that was easy. You got off
Well, thank
unscathed.
you. Yes, please take note of my email. I'm happy to interact with any of you. So I appreciate the invitation. Thank you for having me, and I'm sorry again for the video.
Thank you for coming.
All right, take care.
Okay. So we'll have to pull some questions and think about how we want to use that resource, that's for sure. How to get that information out to the community. Hopefully, since we'll be opening up and maybe doing in-person meetings, that would be good. That would be good. All right, Commander, are you ready?
Always ready, Susie. So let me just brief you guys real quick on our calls for service in the area command. So on the dates for June 16th through July 15th, summer's been pretty busy for the Southeast Area Command. And I'll share these with you, Susie, via email. I've just been kind of busy today. Ag bats, ag assaults, 94. Criminal sexual penetrations, 12. Family offenses, 263. We had 2 offenses within that time. Robberies, 34. Auto thefts, 96. Larcenies, all types, 117. Residential burglaries, 44. We've had 52 disorderly conducts, drug violations, 36. DUIs, 22 in our area command. Weapons violations, 25. As far as for calls for service from June 1st through June 30th, as usual, over 10,000, I believe it's 10,057 for that month. Use of forces, 21. We had 8 level 1s, 9 level 2s, and 4 level 3s. As far as that, I will email these to you, Susie, so that you have them. Another thing that I wanted to bring up is for the area command, am working on my part of paragraph 260 of the CASA, which is community meetings and public information, basically for the area command level. I want you guys to give me some input. I'll share some slides that I have. That way we can work on this together. One of the main things is ways of getting information that you guys want out to the public. I know I put a newsletter out, but there's always more information that certain people want or are requesting. Obviously, you know, I can't give you a 50-page newsletter. I won't be able to get anything done, but I'll do my best to get you guys as much as you want. But I want to work on that with you all. I'm just putting a bug in your ear right now, but I'll share the slides with you, Susie, as well, so you can share with the board. Also, another thing is, you know, just the area command's mission. I want to make sure that I work with you guys as far as when it comes to outreach and engagement, how you guys, you know, expect officers to do this in different ways. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but the type of information that you're going to want to see on whether it be the newsletter or how we post it on our website or social media. But these are things that I want to work on. I like to get things done sooner than later, but I want to make sure that we all work together on this. I'll have some officers helping me out as well, because, you know, this is going to be their mission, their vision for the area command. We do obviously mirror the department's mission a little bit, but, you know, it's going to be specific for the Southeast Area Command and international districts and the different neighborhoods that we have within the Southeast. So I do want to share that with you guys, and maybe we can sit down sooner than later, or Zoom, troubleshoot this, and you guys could come up with some ideas that you guys have in regards to how you guys want to put this out, and just our vision as a team for the area command. Also, we'll be starting a new bid, so I'll be introducing my lieutenants. We bid, I believe, lieutenants already bid this month. I've kept 2 of my current ones. I'll get a new one. Well, you guys know him. He was actually my PRT sergeant, Justin Trebetowski. So he's a new guy back in the Southeast, but you'll see him. The bid doesn't take effect till late August or early September, but hopefully we'll get the same officers back. I definitely like having the same officers back, because they know the area, they know the people, they know, you know, the culture of the Southeast and the international district. So I'll let you guys give you info on that when I do get it, when bid does take place. As far as that, does anybody have questions for me?
Might I add a question? Thank you, Commander Yara. If you were to condense everything that you've faced in the past month into 3 takeaways, I call them takeaways, what might those be? I heard family domestic violence, and I always bring this up. That's one of the more dangerous kinds of incidents that you have to handle. So my question is, what can we, the community, do other than making calls for service? Are there proactive things that we can do? Maybe talking to neighbors about family strife. I'll leave it to you and I'll shut up.
So 3 takeaways from the past month. Wow, it's been a long month. One of the department's goals is to decrease gun violence. We're doing a lot of that with different resources that we utilize, whether it be ShotSpotter, ALPR. I don't know if you guys have been presented on that. It's our automatic license plate reader program. We have different cameras within the area command, and it identifies stolen vehicles when they pass that certain intersection or that specific area. But one of the takeaways is always be patient with my officers. First of all, you guys have heard that from me 1,000 times, because I was out taking calls with them today, and the calls would not stop coming in. We were like 40 deep calls for service, and with the force arrays and making sure that officers are safe. There's enough staffing for them to take that specific call. Just be patient with them. They're working very, very hard for you. So just be patient with them. Second of all, that in my newsletter, I always put a commander's, help me out, or, what to look for. Auto thefts, I didn't report on that, I don't think, but we had 96 in that time period that I told you. And for me, I'm seeing my auto theft numbers go up. I'm placing bait everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. I know that I have hotspots with auto theft, but I also need your help and protecting yourself. You saw in the newsletter, use a club, use a break lock, do these things to help me. Put that word out, share the newsletter with anybody and everybody that you can within our area command or anywhere, because they're going to benefit from it. Another thing is in reporting, you don't always need an officer to show up. You can do online reporting. You can do telephone report unit reporting so that we can get these officers out and able to respond to calls for service for you all in a timely manner. That's one of my biggest struggles right now is keeping my officers safe, having them deploy to calls that need several officers, making sure that I'm assigning them to beats where we have the high majority of call volume or calls for service, and just making sure that I have a proactive approach to anything and everything that you guys need in the area command, whether it be proactive enforcement, outreach engagement, officers out there for community meetings, our weekly Wednesday and Friday sessions when we either go out and feed the homeless or even go and check encampments and offer up resources on Fridays. But it's just a lot of stretching of officers. And like I said, biggest thing, takeaway, and I'll always say it, just be patient with my officers, but I always expect you guys to reach out to me in case there's any sort of issues that you see with them too. I want to make sure that they are treating you, the public, with the utmost professionalism and respect. One more thing on the mission and vision for the outreach and stuff, I'll reach out to you, Angel. I think you're a big part of it as well. We go call to call here, and I go from phone call to Zoom meeting to you name it. And there's times where I'll just pick and choose, I spot something, it's thrown right in front of me and I start working on that, whether it's VIP, going out and reaching somebody that's, possibly shooting off rounds. I'll send people out there to have a little chit chat with them. But you coming into the program and assisting us in the area command, Angel, will be huge for us. But like I said, I'll share these slides with you, Susie, for the group, and we'll work on it as a team and we'll go from there. I think it'll be good if we come up with a good mission and strategy and, what information is very important to the public and how we're going to be able to share that with everybody, even the ones that are harder to reach, because there's those groups that, they don't come to neighborhood association meetings. They don't want to log on to these Zoom meetings. They're very hard to reach, and a simple newsletter or educational opportunity to get to them is very, very important. And that's where you all come in.
And I add my 3 takeaways that are based on your 3 takeaways, or at least things that you've touched on. I encouraged a family member who was a victim of a crime to report online. And I told her exactly what you said, is that it makes it possible for your officers to go to higher priority things. Number 2, I talk to a lot of the officers on the street. I stand back and observe and make sure they know they're safe with me. And then I thank them for the work that they do. I think that it helps a lot. And I tell them that I always wish that they get to go home safely at night, just like we all want to. And third, you touched on guns violence. I can't tell you how many times I hear about there were gun thefts. Well, they were gun thefts from guns left in cars that were left unlocked. Duh. I will shut up now.
Go ahead, Angel.
Well, I just wanted to say, Commander, you could reach out to us anytime, especially with this family violence stuff. I know the violence intervention program, we're targeting gun violence, but we don't turn down referrals either. If we could go out and talk to a family, provide services or resources, then we're all for it. Also, it's fairly new, but there's a restorative justice mediation center that's opening up in the Southeast, where if you have community members, neighbors, families that need some type of mediation or something, if you have time and set a meeting with Jerry, and we'll bring you through this, and Jerry will be all for, I'll go out with your PRT team if they need me to go talk to somebody or anything, or we're here to help. So just let us know.
And I appreciate that, Angel. I have a very, very special PRT team. They're very hardworking, and
Yeah.
they're stretched thin, but they make it happen. Just so you guys know, utilizing that ALPR, the license plate reader program, this Tuesday, they were able to identify a vehicle that went through Louisiana and Central. Again, I'm super proud of these guys. They stopped the vehicle, made contact with the female, two-time felon, over $9,000 in cash, 2 guns. I want to say almost a pound or 2 of methamphetamines, fentanyl, you name it. These are really good busts. I don't want to say that that's all they do is enforcement, but the Southeast is very busy. And, you know, being able to offer a proactive response for you all is very, very important to me, to make sure that I get all of your concerns and, you know, suggestions out there. And that's my to-go team, because my other teams, although they do proactive work, they are literally call to call on a daily basis. And I just left helping them from call to call. And man, I wish I could clone every single one of them so that they don't have to work as hard. But I appreciate their willingness to assist and serve you all. And again, Angel, I will have them reach out. I'll give them your number, and we'll start doing a little bit more projects little by little, and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Commander.
Any other questions?
Thank you. Okay. Let's move on. Let's see. I haven't seen anything else come up in the chat that we haven't addressed. Mike brought up that I did not take a vote on the agenda, so I apologize. Or was it? Yeah. So if we could, while I still have you all here, those of you, let's see, we had a motion and a second, and we did not have a vote on the approval of the agenda. So if I could get a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that would be great. I think we are good. Okay, cool. Let's see. I know that the new members were not in attendance for the May meeting, and we have to approve those minutes. So if we will have you abstain from that vote. And those of us that have been around for a hot minute that were here, which is I guess 3 of us, did you all have a chance to review them? I know that we had one change. Oh wait, that was for the June. Let's see. Did y'all have any questions or changes to the May minutes? Yes, no? Then I will entertain a motion to approve them. Is that a
So moved.
motion? Yeah, cool.
An unusual circumstance, since I did not attend, but I did finally look at the recording. I second the motion to approve.
That will work. And so I'm assuming since you motioned and second that you're going to thumbs up. Thumbs up. Cool. And my cat, I guess, is approving it also. And so that May has passed. So let's look at June. Must be 7 o'clock. It's dinner time for them. Let's see. I know that, did anybody have any changes after rereading or reading the updated ones?
I move that we approve the June minutes as changed
Okay.
by Martisa.
Yes.
I second.
And thumbs up. Oh. Okay, we're good then. I have a couple of things that I'll try to get through real quick, and then if you all have stuff, jump in. Angel had mentioned the Restorative Justice Center. And we at EPC are actually hosting the next community meeting for that, or community neighborhood meeting for that, which will be next Tuesday, the 20th at 6:30. We'll put it out. We're going to go old school and put flyers out within the neighborhood. We'll probably put them at the community center. And I will send them out to you all if you know people who would be interested in talking. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Angel? Just about this, I know that we were both at the last presentation at the Albuquerque Center for Peace and Justice. That Tanya spoke a little bit about. It would be.
Yeah. So yeah. At 6 p.m. on Tuesday, 509 Cardenas, which is Endorphin Power Company. Tanya Covington, who is a restorative justice expert, she's been doing it for 35 years or something like that. She's breaking the program down, what it is, how it works, and why it works. So if anybody's interested, come on by and she'll answer questions. And also, I believe there will be a training coming up where if you want to get involved, want to be a trained restorative justice helper in mediation as well, those opportunities are going to come up as well. And I think you should invite DC Smathers, Susie, to that next Tuesday. Trying to bring a horse. No, I'm just kidding.
Commander.
So with the restorative justice, Angel, I know that we were kind of, the department was starting to dabble in it, look at SOPs and stuff like that. I need to schedule a meeting with Tanya to see how we're going to put this out, especially in the Southeast, and find ways of being able to track it and ensure that, you know, the officers are able to utilize it, which will benefit the community, obviously, but we need to know some boundaries for the officers. That's usually what they ask. So, you know, you can ask questions like, so how can I do this? What calls and, you know, what crimes? And, you know, there's tons of stuff that they're going to ask, but if she can give us the baseline of everything, we can. Southeast is always the pilot project area command. So I obviously I better get some of my officers out there and make sure that we start dabbling in it a bit and make sure we do it the right way. But I definitely want to sit down with her so she can kind of go over the program with me and see what I could do on my end.
No, yeah, definitely. You should reach out to her and probably even CC Jerry on that, because Jerry helps her out with a lot of that too. But oh yeah, she'll be happy to get referrals from you guys, and she'll tell you what kind of referrals she needs. You know.
Yeah, just like the lead program, it took us a while, but we probably put out anywhere from 5 to 8 a week now, just the PRT team alone. But it takes a little time for them to get used to it and see the benefits of it. And training an officer is sometimes a little bit difficult because you need to explain it to them from the beginning to the end and educate them as to, you know, why, how come, you know, the jail isn't always the last resort. So once we get that through their head, I think we'll be better off.
Yeah, no, that would be great. I know she would appreciate that.
So my question would be, not to offend anybody, Commander, but it's my understanding from having gone to the meeting this past Tuesday, that this first meeting really is focused on bringing community together to sort of see what the community is asking for, what their concerns are before bringing an officer into it. So while we'll make you aware of it, we would appreciate us having this first one, and we can run it by Tanya and definitely let you know. But it would be nice to sort of bring the community in at first and see what their concerns are and start there.
So what you're saying is you don't want me there, Susie? I'm just kidding.
And you
No, I'm
know
gonna-
that I love your PRT team and I love your officers, but I would really, because this is so community centered, it would be really nice to see what the community concerns are and then have us sit down at the table.
And I'm okay with that. Like I said, I just would like to kind of get a feel for it, just me alone, just to see kind of what the direction, what mission Tanya has been given in the direction, so that we can start looking at how to educate and sell it to the officers so that they understand the outcome of it. So like I said, just a one-on-one with Tanya, just to educate me a little bit better on the program, and we can go from there.
If you have 1 hour sometime next week, come by our building on 4th Street, and Tanya will break it down to you.
Yeah, since you don't want me in your meeting, Susie.
You can come, but you have to be less lethal.
You have to be in street clothes.
That's what I tell him. Yes. And speaking of less lethal, then the other thing that, and I know I sent it out to you all after Ed sent it out to me, was the new APD policy review that we're all going to be looking at and discussing and talking, I'm assuming, to the commander about, which is the de-escalation, the intermediate weapon systems, which I haven't even looked at that one yet, use of force general, and then the use of force definitions. So yeah, that should be fun.
No, and I'm absolutely open to that. You know, when the policy came out, huge learning curve for us. You know, even me. You know, it's just it's a lot, but you know, slowly but surely we learn, we make mistakes, we come back, we do better, and I think we do a lot of them here in the Southeast, so we get better every time we make a mistake, regardless of the outcome on our end anyways, but we're doing our best. I'll tell you right now, I hear my officers on the radio, and it's like clockwork now. You know, they do everything that they check the boxes on that SOP, and they do it so often, unfortunately, here in the area command. And I don't say use force, but they deploy like that so often that I think it's just like a script to them now. So they're becoming experts, I would like to say. And you know, the experience helps us out a lot, but you know, that's not our end goal, to use force or to even deploy that way. But you know, unfortunately, there's moments where we have to. But yeah, I'm definitely up for it. I'll bring my I'll eat my Wheaties that day, Susie.
We learn by doing, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Does anybody else on the council have other to bring forward?
I would ask if any of the remaining community members have some questions or comments, that we entertain those first. All you have to do, I suppose, is say so in chat. And if not, I'm always a mouthy kind of person, and I could
We
share a
we
couple.
have our email address also, our Southeast CPC email address.
So if nobody from the participants, community participants, are going to add something, I would like to simply say that we do have what's called a Council of Chairs, which is a sort of an umbrella organization that tries to coordinate and collaborate amongst all of the 6 CPCs. And we are planning a town hall for community engagement and input and feedback about what we call our strategic plan. That was initially scheduled for September, but they would like to put it off for perhaps October to be able to do it in person. And that announcement has not gone out yet, but I just want community members to know that that is in the works, and that there are a number of ways that you can sort of get a glimpse into what we're doing and issues we're trying to tackle. And I'm about to enter a bunch of links into chat. And if you want, you can go and check those out. And I think the only other thing that I would add is Susie had begun with kind of tips about how to have dialogue conversation here. And one of the links specifically addresses that. It's sort of a food for thought survey for community members. And so I'll enter that now. And with that, I have nothing else to add, and maybe we'll end early.
Yes, Ron.
I sent late this afternoon or mid-afternoon, everyone a copy of the 2020 annual report from the Southeast Area Community Policing Council. I sent that off to Kelly, and that provides the information and statistics and information about the work that the Policing Council did and our involvement this past year during the pandemic, and noted that there was a period there when policing councils actually didn't meet for almost 4 months because of the COVID, until we were able to come up with the use of what we're using now, the Zoom policing councils and meetings like that. So our first 2 meetings were in person, and after that, everything fell apart. But that will be posted. I ask all of you on the Policing Council to take some time to review the information in that email that I sent out. And if you have any comments or anything about that, please let me know.
Thank you for taking care of that, Ron. I appreciate that. Anyone else?
I uploaded that annual report on the website. So if you want to go on there too, it's uploaded on the Southeast section.
Thank you, Martisa.
Thank you, Martisa.
And by the way, one other thing Martisa is doing is building a YouTube channel to make all of our past meetings accessible. So
Awesome.
we'll put those up there by month, and you can just send the links out.
Wow, we're just growing leaps and bounds. Cool. All right, well, if nobody has anything else and nobody's opposed to finishing early, then I would entertain a motion that we adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
All right, everybody good with that?
Yep.
Cool, thank you. Thank you, Maria. Thank you for staying around to the end. Thank you, Commander Yara. We'll be bugging you next week, don't worry. Have a good evening. Thanks, Maria.
Thank you. Good night. Take care.
Good night.
Have a nice
I have
evening.
Kelly, I have a question.
Yes.
So when's the meetings? I want to be clear.
Which meetings would those be?
Like the CPC?
You mean other CPCs?
No, like this one. Is it like on Thursdays?
Yeah, it's every Thursday. It's the the third Thursday of every month.
Every third Thursday of the month.
Okay, because I have a classes, like I'm doing in person and up to like 5 o'clock. So it's okay to be in the car, or
As long as you can attend, be present, you know. If you can-
And we always start at 6 o'clock. It doesn't start before 6 o'clock.
And if you want, you can get the Zoom app, depends on what your phone is, but I've used the Zoom app on my Android phone and it works fine.
And it works fine. It works fine on my cell phone also.
All right.
All right. I have that. That's the only question I have.
So start inviting some people. Tell them how great this is, and we'll go forward.
I will.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. And Martisa.
Take care. Thank you. Bye.
Have a good night.
Nighty night.